I don't dab. I won't do that to my generation. All right, stop.
Collaborate.
And listen.
Welcome to G Club Stop, Collaborate, and Listen, a show designed to get to know the board game community. This is where the board game movers and shakers stop what they're doing, collaborate on topics, and we get to listen and learn from designers, publishers, media creators, and you, the gamers. I'm your humble host, JT, and I've got Kristi on the show with us today to talk about her blog, channel, and Instagram called Peace, Love, and Games. So let's get to know our guest. So, real quick, Kristi, who are you? What's your role in all of this? And what dessert best describes you?
I am Kristi with Peace, Love, and Games, obviously. My focus is Instagram right now. I also have a blog and YouTube channel. Instagram is my main focus right now as far as engagement with the community. My blog focuses more on reviews and articles, and YouTube is kind of just an experiment still, so we'll see where that goes. If I could be any dessert, I would be biscotti, because I am at my best when soaked in coffee.
That's great. So we're going to be hitting a few segments here as we go along through the show. Those of you that are familiar with this, you'll be used to the cadence of this. But we're going to get into the wind-up and the pitch. And the wind-up is we're going to get to learn a little bit more about the channel and the content that Kristi does on Instagram, as well as her blog. And then also be able to give her the opportunity to give that really good, crisp sales pitch that she's been working on. And so, here we go. Let's talk about the wind-up here. What types of content do you provide? What are the features of your content? And how frequently do you add to your content?
Instagram, I'll start there. I try to post something every day, usually every day, every other day. And that focuses more on the artful side of board games. I also do short little reviews, highlight things that are on my blog, things like that. The blog, I do reviews and articles. That my target audience is people like me, parents that like to game with their kids, but also like to game once the kids are in bed. So I do shorter games that parents can do on a weeknight, and also things like the benefits of board games for kids' educational side and ways to get your kids into board gaming. And YouTube, again, right now it's just reviews for the most part. I'm not quite sure where I'm going with that yet.
Okay. If you get a chance, certainly check out her Instagram. She does absolutely beautiful, stunning pictures. So definitely go take a look at that. So let's talk about the pitch here. You've done your wind-up. Now here's the pitch. You kind of talked about who this content is for, but why should I visit your content?
I think I bring a perspective that you don't see a lot. I've been board gaming with my kids for 15 years now. I've been gaming for longer than that. And you don't see a lot of middle-aged women talking about board games and their families together. So I think it's something you don't see in a lot of other places.
All right, so we've done the wind-up, we've done the pitch, and now we're going to get in the swing. And so this is where we get to throw a few balls at you. You get to protect the plate and hit a few back into my direction, and we get to know a little bit more about you. Now, I've searched the interwebs, as you like to say.
I'll see you on the line, in the nets.
Or we hit the tweets or the twits, as you put in some of your videos before.
I've been reading the tweeters, the twits.
Which are absolutely fantastic. If you get a chance, go check out Kristi's smack talking video about Clash of Creators, where she does an excellent job at explaining how apps work. So, very good. But let's get into some of the fan mail that I got. I don't have my green mailbag on me, but certainly want to be able to jump into some of these questions. So, you know Daniel from Plumpy Thimble, and
Yes.
he wrote in, what is the most difficult thing about content creation for you, and how do you overcome it?
The most difficult is myself. definitely. I'm a perfectionist, and my content is far from perfect. It's it takes a lot of willpower and a really good sense of humor to do what I do because I'm so hard on myself. So that is the most difficult thing, I think, just being able to laugh at myself and looking at what I've done previously after a week or two and looking at it with fresh eyes and realizing it's not as bad as I thought it was really helps me continue doing what I'm doing.
Okay. He then follows up with this question. Do you love any games that are widely considered as bad?
I don't, well, I don't know. I get a lot of flack for loving Splendor so much. It's one of my favorite games. I will always play Splendor. And I do enjoy playing Clue still. So a lot of people think those are bad games. I don't know.
Clue is such a classic. I mean, you get the roll and move part of it, but outside of that, it's just a fun deduction game.
It is.
All right. Then we got this guy, I think his name is Christian from Take Your Chits. You may have heard of him.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. He's kind of an odd guy. But he wrote in a number of these. So we'll see if we can get to a couple of them. He's interested. What's your favorite color?
Green or blue? Blue? Green?
Blue.
One of those.
Okay. All right. What's your favorite movie?
Christian knows this too. I don't do favorites very well. It's so hard for me to pick. Clue. Going back to Clue. Clue is one of my favorite movies. The Lord of the Ring trilogy, The Princess Bride. It really depends on what mood I'm in or why. I have different favorites for Rocky Horror Picture Show. It just lots of favorites.
Okay. You seem to like Tim Curry.
Yes.
If I'm reading that right. All right. Then he asked, why do you hate Star Wars Last Jedi? Why do you hate having fun? I'm pretty sure he's just trolling you at this point.
I love having fun. That is why I hate The Last Jedi. Question answers itself.
Okay. Then he asked, would you rather watch his channel nonstop for 24 hours or dab constantly in the middle of a crowded mall without stop for 6 hours straight? I don't even know. Who came?
I don't dab. I won't do that to my generation. I'm not even gonna. So obviously, if I had to choose, I suppose I would watch Christian for 24 hours.
Okay. All right. Well, that takes a strong person to do that, I think.
I have a strong constitution, so.
There you go. Hey, this is future JT here. Just wanted to add in this one question that I happen to miss from Leland Steele here at T Hud Reppin. He says, on a scale of great to greatest, how does Leland Steele rank? Has there ever been anybody that lived as humble and funny as Leland Steele? And what I wanted to do is I just wanted to share with you the response that Kristi put out there.
On a scale from Leland Steele to Leland Steele, this question is without a doubt totally Leland Steele.
Oh, snap.
So as you can see, Kristi, once again, like all the other questions, knocks it out of the park. All right. Well, let's get into some of the more questions that I had, the really important ones. But let's get to know you a little bit better. Let's get to know how you came up with some of your content here. Let's just talk about the name for a second. Why Peace, Love, and Games?
I chose the name just out of the blue. My kids were gone for the weekend. I had the house to myself, and I decided I'm finally going to do this. And I liked the visual aspect of the name, Peace, Love, and Games, and it also sort of represented my philosophy that board games really do bring everybody together. So I just ran with it.
Okay. So you said you were kind of sitting at the house going, I'm finally going to do this, right?
Yeah.
That was a matter of time. But what was the inspiration that said, I need to do this. I need to do this?
I think it was actually I made the decision, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago at PAX West. I was watching a panel on, I think it was diversity in gaming or women in gaming, and Bebo was on the panel, and she was begging more women to start blogging, start creating content. And that was when I decided that I will start doing that.
Okay.
It just took a couple years to get there.
Yeah, Bebo's been a strong character within the community, and has done quite a bit of work and effort to increase diversity and to encourage other ladies, from what I've seen. So, I've certainly enjoyed her work on GameWire. So, you mentioned here diversity being an aspect of something that got you into doing content creation, and as I've looked, I've seen a lot of other women more and more taking up the mantle, get involved in content creation. We've seen new podcasts, new YouTubers like yourself. You're doing Instagram, you're blogging, and you're trying to get involved as much as you can. We've seen folks like Mandy and Suzanne jump in and take a predominant role in the Dice Tower. So where do you see this trend going from here, and what kind of impact do you think this has had on our industry?
I think, well, over the last 20 years that I've been gaming, when I first started, it was pretty rare to see women in the game stores or in my gaming group. It's a lot different now. I've judged it by looking at how long the lines are in the women's bathroom at conventions. And 5 years ago, there was like tumbleweeds in the women's bathrooms. But this year, there's actual lines at the conventions. So the attendance of women at board game conventions have increased quite a bit just in the last 5 years. And I think having more visible representation in the industry is so important for diversity on a whole, because the more people that are out there, the more that other women will be more comfortable being visible as well. So I think it's only going to increase, and it will equalize the numbers a lot, hopefully. I'm confident that's where it's going. It's not perfect yet, but one of the motivations, I was talking to my daughter about how I felt uncomfortable getting into the industry because I'm a middle-aged woman, and you don't see that very often. And I was like, there's no role model for me. There's nobody else out there. What if I'm judged harshly because of my age, because of my gender? And she said, well, you just have to do it and be that role model for other people. And she's a lot wiser than me. So I was like, yeah, you're right. There needs to be more visible representation of the different types of people, because board gaming is an interest across all spectrums.
Right. So one of the things I think we've learned here, ladies, is if you're at a convention and the line is really long, don't complain and just say, I'm thankful that all these other ladies are showing up, right?
Yeah.
So that never would have crossed my mind, is that you're judging it by the length of time it takes you to get to the bathroom. So
yeah, it was an odd thing going to conventions and there being nobody else in the bathroom but lines for the men's. And so that's changed a lot. So that's why it was so noticeable to me.
That's right. You go to like a state fair or you go to a concert or something like that, and there's always a line in the ladies' room. So, with that said, who do you know in the industry that you think others should know? Who's somebody out there you say, I think other people need to get to know this individual?
That's really tough. There are so many great people out there. It's really hard to call out anybody. I do. Tiffany, the one tar, I think is really great. She does streaming at least once a week. And she has been she's been an inspiration for me to begin with, being a fellow woman. But she does great content. She also does how to paint miniatures. She's been streaming games that she's got at Essen. So it's a really great way to see games that you wouldn't otherwise be able to see, and get to know games that will be coming out soon.
Yeah, one tar is great. Tiffany's great.
Yeah, she's also a really fun person, and really fun, honest, and she has a personality that's really fun to watch. So I really enjoy her stuff. As far as more educational family board gaming stuff, there's a blog called My Little Poppies, and I believe her name is Caitlin, and it's geared more towards homeschooling, game schooling, but there's a lot of resources on there that that I use myself. As far as choosing games for my kids, especially trying to sneak in some educational components because my kids game a lot.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's a blog that says this is how you can connect this board game, this modern board game, with some kind of educational aspect within your homeschool curriculum.
Right.
Okay.
Right. She has lists like science board games, math board games, and some of it's going to be more educational, but there's always some gems in there that are not educational games that have educational aspects to it.
Okay. Yeah, it's always fun. It's an interesting concept. There's some games that do a really good job on their own at teaching something, but
Right.
also being fun. There's other games that do a good job at teaching something, and there's games that do a good job at being fun. And
Yeah.
sometimes they don't always make sense. Like Academy Games tries to do that with some heavier themes.
Yeah.
So
they great stuff.
Yep. All right. Well, I'll make sure to post that in the description below with those links to both One Tar and to the blog that you mentioned. What was that red pill moment for you, or that game that opened up your eyes to this hobby?
I think it was 2003. I was at my local game store buying a chess set for my oldest child, and I saw the Game of Thrones board game, and I'm a fan of the books, and my boyfriend's birthday was coming up, so I bought it for him, and I think that was the first hobby board game. I was doing role-playing games a lot. I played a lot of D&D and Shadowrun and stuff like that beforehand, but I think that was my first hobby board game that I played, and I loved it. It was amazing. It was a brand new experience. So after that, I bought Ticket to Ride, and that's all she wrote.
Wow, that's a reverse. I mean, I played Game of Thrones probably in the first couple of years that I really got heavy into the hobby, and it took us a little bit to figure that one out. So
Yeah.
that's the one. It's kind of almost like diplomacy meets the theme of Game of Thrones kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that one's a tough one, but it had some epic moments, I will say. So
Yeah, it was a lot. I loved it.
yeah. So a lot of people, they go Ticket to Ride and then they go into something stronger. You just went for the hard stuff right away. But
Well, I
think
didn't know it was going to be hard. I just went for the IP and went from there.
But you had a background playing D&D and other things, and
Yeah.
so dealing with any kind of complex systems or something like that was probably pretty easy to pick up at that point.
Yeah. I guess so.
So what advice would you give to someone? You mentioned before, you're like, I don't really have that hero that's out there.
Yeah.
I'm looking for, some way in which I can have kind of a model to go after, right? And if you're thinking about someone who is wanting to get into content creation or is just getting started, what are some good, solid pieces of advice you'd give someone just getting started?
Forget what everybody else is doing and do whatever feels right. If you need inspiration, look outside of the industry, look at other industries to get fresh perspective and inspiration, and then make that your own. I think there's a lot of people doing the same thing as far as content creators, and we're just now starting to get a lot of fresh new ideas and new looks in, which is really exciting because we don't want it to become stagnant, especially as it grows. So I think really looking outside of the industry for ideas, and doing whatever feels right and just doing it to begin with, whatever it is, start somewhere.
So with that said, you're doing reviews. You're taking pictures of games. You're playing games with your kids all the time. You're trying to do homeschooling. You're trying to be mom. You're trying to keep up with everything else that's going on. with life that comes along with all of that. What is it? How often are you playing reviews to review versus playing for fun?
I I get to play for fun with my kids a couple times a week at least, if not every day. But it's still kind of work because you're with your kids. I mean, it's fun, but as far as grown-up time, it's a lot more rare where I actually get to choose a game I want to play because I want to play it, not because I have to review it. But I tried to do it at least once a week, but it usually is maybe twice a month. So,
Yeah, that magic time of after kids go to bed to have adult games and things like that you
yeah.
can play. Yeah, I understand that completely. What you mean
And
by
I
that.
do most of my work after the kids are in bed. So I don't have a lot of time
Right.
to not be working.
Yeah, if you got to edit or you got to post pictures on Instagram or work those
Yeah.
angles, you don't have time to really play a lot of games if that's the only time you can do it after the kids go to bed. So, yeah, those can make some late nights or early mornings.
Yeah, I have 2 nights a week off, but I'm in a D&D campaign every other week and also an Uncharted Worlds campaign every other week. So, I mean, which I guess is for me too, and that's fun. So,
That
role
keeps you
playing
busy.
games. Yeah,
Those are fun though. Man,
yeah, a lot of fun.
I haven't been in a campaign in a long time. Trying to get a regular group together been difficult.
It keeps me sane.
It's
Go
such a
play make believe with other adults. It's really great.
right. That's the whole thing, right? When you're a kid, you
Yep.
can make believe, and when you're an adult, it's still great and
Yep.
helps you with the problem solving aspect of things. So, with your different outlets, you've got a number of outlets to kind of keep track of right now. Like myself, I have Facebook group or a Facebook page and a YouTube channel, and I kind of dabble in Instagram. And you yourself, you started earlier this year, and you have got several outlets going at the same time. How much are you paying attention to the statistics that are in those media outlets?
Instagram, I'm checking every day because that's my baby right now. That's what I'm trying to grow. It's where my passion is. So I check that every day. Sometimes obsessively, but I'm getting better. Um, as the blog, I check a couple times a week just to see what's going on, what's happening. And YouTube, it's been a couple weeks since I've checked, so I don't check that as often.
Daniel, in his question earlier, asked, "What is one of the most challenging things as a content creator?" Well, let's flip it on the other side. What's something that you enjoy the most as a content creator?
I love creating things to begin with. I do crafting and I've always enjoyed photography. So anytime that I could create something and be proud of it, it makes me happy. So that part of it is really exciting for me. I love it. The photography, especially. I kind of chose photography as my thing to force myself to learn more on how to be a better photographer, to kind of push myself, and I've really enjoyed it a lot.
What have you learned from failure?
I will let you know once I've failed.
Okay. I'll leave it at that. What's next for Peace, Love, and Games?
I'm trying to narrow my focus. I've been kind of all over the place because I jumped in not knowing what I wanted to do, which is what they tell you not to do. But if I waited, it would have never happened. So I want to narrow my focus a little bit. I think I'm going to focus more on shorter reviews on Instagram and focus my blog more on articles. And I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with YouTube yet. YouTube's just kind of fun. So
Okay.
I'm not putting a lot of thought there until the other pieces fall into place.
And that is really an important thing to zero on focus. I saw an interview with Edo and Bebo, and one of the Bebo talked about was having your 5 pillars. Like, what are the 5 things you want to be known for? And it's really difficult to narrow things down to 5 sometimes when you have so many things you could be doing.
Yeah.
But if you get it down to those 5, that helps you keep focused and helps you kind of keep your brand going. So that's wise.
Right.
So we've done the wind-up, the pitch, and we've done the swing. And so now we're going to get into the catch. And this is where I'm going to pepper Kristi with some just all my lightning fast reflexes that I've gained as I've gotten older. And we're going to attempt to throw some things in her way and see how she responds to these. She hasn't seen these questions before. And so we're going to see how quickly she responds to them. So here we go. What is your meeple color of choice?
Yellow.
Who would your family say is your favorite designer?
Ryan Lockett.
Okay. What game do you hope Santa leaves you under the tree this year?
Majesty for the Realm.
Majesty for the Realm. Okay.
Yeah.
What Christmas movie would make a great board game?
The Ref.
The Ref. Ooh. It's an interesting one. I haven't thought about that one in a while. What board game universe would you want to live in?
War of the Ring.
Okay. That'd be an intense one.
It would be, but I don't have to be right where all the action's happening.
There you go.
I just have to be in the universe.
There you go. You could just
In
be
the
watching
Shire.
from afar. In the Shire. There you go.
Yeah.
Hopefully
So
that's the safest place.
In the books, the Shire does not fare well, however, so I don't know.
All right. What TV channel doesn't exist but really should?
If I had to have a TV channel, it would just be actually good historical shows. Not like what the History Channel should be.
What makes you laugh every time?
That makes me laugh. The Three Amigos makes me laugh every time I watch it. So
boy.
like the wind. Yes.
What game title best describes your life?
My life is a little bit like Mansions of Madness, though, with 4 kids. It is.
To focus on the madness part.
Yes.
It's not the Arkham Horror, it's just the Mansion of Madness. Yeah.
It's just the insanity tokens all over.
I understand. This comes up a lot of times. There's 2 types of gamers in the world. What are those 2 types?
The 2 types of gamers in this world are the rules people and the we're grown-ups, we can do whatever we want people.
What would you say is your grail game? What's that game that you're after that you just can't seem to get your hands on?
The Ticket to Ride Anniversary Edition, I really, really want.
That is a beautiful looking game.
Yes, I ordered it off of eBay once and got scammed. So someday I will have it.
It will be mine. Oh, yes. It will be mine.
Among your friends and family, what are you famous for?
My soup.
Soup?
I make good soup.
Okay. What kind of soup, out of curiosity?
Well, I usually it's chicken based unless it's my sausage soup, but I make it different every time. I just whatever I feel like putting in, it's always different. So.
Okay. Here's one I have to ask. I think it's by contractual obligation at this point. Who has a more epic beard, Chuck Norris or Kaz from the Dice Odyssey?
Cause. Of course.
Yeah.
Chuck's a little. He's okay, but Kaz's beard is definitely epic.
Okay. If you were to take 3 things to the island of Robinson Crusoe, what would it be?
3 things. A cast iron Dutch oven, a lighter, and a water purifier.
If there was a fire and you got everybody out safely and you had a time to grab one game, what would be that game you'd grab?
It would be a toss-up between Ticket to Ride, because it's my oldest board game that I have. Actually, yeah, I think it is. the oldest one I have. That's mine. I have ones that are older. Or Dune, because it's Dune.
Right. That'd be a tough one to let go.
I think that's one of my husband's oldest games, so one's more sentimental, one's Dune.
I like how that was said. Well, we've done quite a bit here. We've done the swing, we've done the catch, and now we're going to go into the call here. So, where can people find you? Where can people find your content? And really, more importantly, what do you want on your tombstone?
Find me Instagram. I'm at Peace Love Games. YouTube is at Peace Love Games. My blog is peaceloveandgames.com. On Twitter, I'm at Peace Love letter N Games. And on my tombstone, it would have to be gluten-free and pineapple.
Ooh. Okay. All right. Some people consider that the best thing, and other people consider that an abomination. That's a very, very bold choice.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
So we will certainly put all of her links down below in the description, and of course they should have been run across the screen as she said it, to make sure that you can be able to catch up with the different branding that she has for these different links. And those of you that are following along at home, if there was a fire at your house, you got everybody out safely, what's the game that you would choose to grab as you're running out the door? So we've done the call. Now we're going to hit the wrap, and well, this is the part where I get to say a big thank you to Kristi from Peace Loving Games for joining me on Stop, Collaborate, and Listen. So thank you so much, Kristi, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure. I've been really excited to get you on the show.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
And my apologies to Christian from Take Your Chits. We just ran out of time. We'll have to reschedule him later. That's just too bad. I was really hoping to get to see that guy on here. But we had a lot of fun, and I hope you did too. And if you had fun, hit that subscribe button and all the like buttons, of course, letting us know how well things went for you. So if you have any questions for Kristi or myself, please post those in the comments below. And once again, my name is JT.
I'm Kristi.
And you've been watching G Club. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye. My name is JT.
I'm somebody.
Sorry. Okay, whenever you're ready. What game do you wish you could erase from your memory so you could experience it again for the first time?
Where do you get these questions? These are horrible questions. Well, it's not Happy Pigs.
I was waiting for you to say Game of Thrones, which would have been interesting.
Go ahead, Game of Thrones. Yeah. Yeah. My life is not that exciting.